This is the experiment design canvas, and we're going to talk about the 4 major steps of that canvas. Now, in this canvas, it's really important to, first of all, state which stage of the funnel my idea is going to be serving. And for the sake of this presentation, my idea for that experiment is to relocate the call to action button on my homepage. All right, so that's the idea. And let's start with the factors, factors that I have to fill. First of all, we will start with the assumption. What do I assume that this idea or this experiment will help me with? In this case, I can say that we believe that by relocating the call to action button above the fold or in the middle of the landing page, it will increase the click-through rate or the number of clicks by 10%. And that's the assumption. To verify that, we will, and this is where we go into the details of the experiment. Who am I going to need help from? What am I going to do? And when am I going to do it as well? Plus, who is the target audience that will be affected? Now, how can I describe this? I can say, to verify that, we will design a new call to action button with the art department or the design department, and then we will ask the IT department to relocate that CTA button for us, or an IT engineer, and we will do this on the website, and we will test it for a couple of weeks to see the effects of it. And let's say starting Friday and 2 weeks after that. All right, it's really important to be specific with the verification process and with the whole canvas, with the whole design process, because whoever is looking at our design canvas needs to understand it as well. So, especially if you work in a team, in a growth team, and not alone as an entrepreneur or a one-man or woman show. Next, we've got the measuring part, and this is also very, very important. This is where data comes in. What is the data that am I going to track? And it's really important to make sure that you track the quantitative part and the qualitative part as well. In our courses, we talk a lot about data and the difference between quantitative and qualitative, and what each one of those actually serve. But to briefly explain this, quantitative data is anything that is quantifiable. So basically, anything with a number. The click-through rate, the number of sessions, the bounce rate, the average time spent on the page, and so on. So these are all metrics in the quantitative part of data. The qualitative part, for example, can help me track and study the user behavior mainly, and a lot of feedback. So for example, I can send out surveys. I can conduct user interviews. I can conduct user testing. I can use tools to help me check user recordings on my landing page, and also heat maps. So those are all qualitative parts of the data that can help me figure out why what is happening is happening. Quantitative will tell me what is happening. Qualitative will tell me why, and it's important to put both together. So in this case, I want to measure the click-through rate. So that's the quantitative part. I might also want to measure the user recordings and the heat maps on my landing page. And this will help me figure out why I got the click-through rate that I got. And moving on to the we are right if, and this is where we set the goal. This is really important because you will base your success criteria basically will be that goal. So you will deem this experiment as a win or a fail based on what you put in this section. So what I will say here, for example, we are right if the click-through rate increases by 10%. So after 2 weeks, when I'm studying the data, if my click-through rate has increased by 9%, I can say that this experiment was a fail. If it increased by 10 or more, then I can say that it's a win. And this is how we design an experiment. Make sure to add as much detail as you can on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. For example, on the right-hand side of the Canva, we have the start and end date, possible blockers, for example. We all know that we might be facing blockers like budgets, or maybe, let's say, I need the IT department to help me out and they're super busy, so that could be a blocker. And then tools needed, relevant links, and estimated costs if there are any. And that's how we outline the experiment.